Hello, everybody. Welcome to April. Oh my gosh, here we are. I guess it's actually the second week of April, first and a half week of April. I don't know. I'm so glad you are all here with me today. I see a whole bunch of the regulars popping in and saying their hellos. If you are new to my channel, or if you've been lurking and you feel like you want to say hello today, please do give us your name and tell me where you're from. We have people from all across the world here that love to get together on Thursday afternoons and do a little bit of crafting together as we're all running with scissors because our lives are absolutely crazy, right? Anyway, so glad to see everyone. Paula, I'm glad you got into the right stream. I often struggle with that. Should I put my streams up early or will people go to the wrong one like you did? I don't know if I should put them up in advance or not. Anyway, I did put next week's up in advance. And then after today, I'll put the following weeks up in advance. I'm trying to stay ahead of the curve here, as you know. So I try to keep everything up to date. So nice to see you guys. Hi, John. Nice to meet you. Glad you are here with us. We're going to be doing some crafting in a little bit, but first we need to get to just a few announcements. And I don't like to mince words or hang on for too long because we really want to get to the crafty stuff, right? Okay, so let's talk some announcements real quick. So as you know, this month our stamp focus set is Concord and Knights Just Because, and we will start working with that stamp set today. So if you already have that in your hot little hands, you can start working on projects today with me. The workshop will be at the end of the month on April 28th. So if you haven't registered for that, there is a link down below to the workshops page on my blog, and you can sign up for the workshop. It is a live virtual private event on Google Meet. And if you aren't able to attend live, you can still register for it and get the replay later. So that is out there and available. And like I said, we'll be starting with that stamp set today. This month really and next month too, we're going to be diving into Concord and Ninth. We're going to be using their inks, their papers, their stamp sets, of course, their famous turnabouts. So awesome. So I'm really excited to be using all of their products this month. So that is the first thing. The second thing, of course, our Sketch Starter Challenge is now open for April. So check that out. Each month I provide you with 3 sketches, and you can use any of those sketches to create any number of projects that you want and link those up on my blog. I select a random winner every month, and you get a $15 gift certificate to Ulta New. So the more chances you'll get, the more chances, the more you play, right? So pop in as many cards, even scrapbook projects that you are inspired by the sketches, and you could be a winner if your name is randomly selected. All right, so that is that. The third thing, the May Stamp Focus set, as I said, is going to be Concord and Knights Painted Petal Turnabout Kit. Now, this is their new turnabout kind of starter kit, and I know a lot of you that follow me here may not be familiar with Concord and Knights turnabouts, may not have done them before, so I thought this would be a good way to introduce turnabouts, which I think are really, really unique and a super cool idea. So we're going to be using that kit all next month. If you're going to join us this month and next month, I kind of recommend you bundle everything together, because in the kit you actually will get the inks, a little 4 cube of inks. You're going to get the stamp set, some dies, and then there's also a coordinating paper pack that you can get that we will be using in this month's workshop as well as next month. So if you bundle it together, you'll save yourself some shipping, and if you have a coupon, I don't know, you might even save yourself a couple bucks. Okay, so the last thing, of course, I truly, truly appreciate it when you guys use my affiliate links to shop. All the products that we'll be using today are listed down below in the description, and all of those are affiliate links, which means that if you click on a link and you go shop at that store and you check out without going to any other crafters links, I might receive a small commission, and that's at no additional cost to you. So it's a really easy way to support me and all of your other crafty folks that you like out on YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, and out on their blogs. If you ever see an affiliate link, just know that you're going to be supporting, and you click on it, just know you'll be supporting that particular artisan as you do your shopping. All right, so you guys are pretty chatty out there today. Let's see what's going on. You know what? It is like quintessential spring here in Nebraska. It is hot, cold, hot, cold. We've had 85-degree day already. Now I think today we're in like the mid 40s, and it's raining. So they always say April showers, spring, May flowers, and our flowers are coming up. And this is perfect for the farmers in our area. They really do need the rain to get their crops started off the right way. Okay, so that's weather in our area. Let's see. Cece, I missed you too. I'm so glad you're here. And I'm glad to see Penny. I don't know how you do it. My eyes would still be closed right now. And I hope that you do stay safe this weekend. Keep me posted, okay? I just want to know that you're safe. Let's see. Oh, good. Penny, I'm glad you got your stuff. So you can start playing with that now. Everyone else is out here. So glad everybody is doing well. Okay. And Paula's getting a suntan in the UK. Oh, a couple other things. Don't forget, share out this video. Get some more folks to join up with us while we're live here today. And don't forget to click on the like button so that way you get more content like this in your feed on YouTube. Okay, so as you know, previously we had been doing a weekly kind of challenge giveaway where I created the project each week, and the first person that posted their riff on the project was going to win a card from me. So last month, this is the last way, the last month that we're going to do it this way because I want to make it a little bit more fair for all. So I have winners for that. So let's go through those. Okay, so these were our case challenge winners. So we had Anne twice on the first and third weeks. Becca did win on the second week. And then we had a tie on week 4. Both Sue and Berta posted on the 25th. And I don't have timestamps on them, so I can't tell who posted first. And I didn't happen to catch it when it happened. So I'm sending to both of you. So let's take a look at your projects. Right. And I wanted to share some other projects out there too. So the last time we got together, which was actually 2 weeks ago, we did what I was calling some magic heat embossing. And this is Penny's riff on it. She used gold embossing powder, and I wanted to enlarge this so everyone could see. She used gold embossing powder, which I think is absolutely gorgeous with the brown. And I love the black. It leaves it nice and crisp and clean. Beautiful work. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, so that was Penny. And then Anne shared her projects from our live workshop last month. And I love the way they turned out. I think she really learned a lot about some of the shading and working with her markers, and really got some good experience in there as we were going through the projects. I like this one the best. Okay, so then Roberta shared her projects from the live workshop as well. And I love that she used this rainbow washi tape. I think this is washi tape. Rainbow strip washi tape. And I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a great choice to kind of liven up the sets and make them, the card designs, and make them look a little bit more appropriate for kids maybe. I think they're really great. Or just, a little more bright and sunny, right? Okay, so those were Roberta's projects from the class. And then Umi, she actually was our class winner last month, and she got the stamp set for free and access to the class. She wasn't able to attend live and in person, but she did go back through the replay. So this is why I really say, if you can't attend live, get the class anyway and go through the recorded version of it. You'll get just the same instruction. And maybe some of the downtime I cut out in between, but I try not to cut out the chit chat too much or anything, but you get the same instruction. And she created this beautiful card. And Umi, I think this is just absolutely gorgeous. I love the white on the linen. I think that looks spectacular. And she did this with colored pencils because she didn't have the markers. But I think she did a spectacular job. So I'm really glad you posted this, Umi. I'm glad you enjoyed the class too. Okay, so then Roberta, this is her take on our Magic Emboss Resist. And I think she did a really great job. So she had this one, and then she actually posted a second one. There's her second one. This one she used with the Distress ink. And I'm wondering if maybe it dried a little lighter than what she had in her picture here. She probably did it and took the picture right away, but I'm thinking it maybe dried just a hair lighter, and the blend would look a little bit less dramatic around the edge. But I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. So fantastic job. And then our last person, the last winner here, so this is Sue's projects. And I love that she went off the beaten path and she used green and white instead of the brown. She did it both ways, and I think they look gorgeous. So I'm so glad that she shared. All right, so like I said, our winners from week 4 were Sue and Berta. I think I have both of your addresses, but go ahead and email me with March Case Challenge winner. So that way I can make sure I have your current address and get those cards out to you guys in the mail as soon as I get your address. Okay. And that's that. All right. So that's it for announcements. Whew, you know, I like to get through that fast, and still took 10 minutes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So yes, way to go, everybody. So glad you guys are sharing your projects, because that's what this is all about. It's about learning and sharing. So as you share, invite people to come over and craft with us. The more the merrier, right? And we get more ideas from each other. We learn from each other. You guys have a great time with all of your chatty conversation while I'm crafting. I love to go back and read all the chat after I'm done, because sometimes I miss out on all the good stuff. Anyway, so here is our card for today. Now, you guys are really going to love this month, because some of you have asked, like, what do you do with all of your leftover stuff, all of your scraps and things like that? We are going to use scraps this month. So as we create cards with new stuff, we're also going to take the scraps left over and create something else from them. Okay. So instead of letting it go into your scrap bin, we're going to use it right away. And I'm going to show you samples on that. Okay. So here's our card for today. And I love this one because it opens this way. It doesn't open from the top. It's just you just riff in the card the other way. So instead of being like an open like this, it opens like this. And sometimes I like to do my cards like that. All right, so we're going to match up our stamp sets with some of the dies. We're going to use some of the negative leftover pieces on other projects. You guys are going to love it. Okay, so today I'm introducing you to Concord and Ninth's Wheat ink. And we will be using their wheat cardstock and their midnight cardstock, the blue. Okay, so if you didn't catch me talking about this stamp set last month, what you need to know is that these 4 die pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4 here, do not cut these out. Okay, they do not cut the flowers out. They don't cut the fern out. They are coordinating. So when you look at it, it's not, see, this one goes the opposite way. Actually, I guess it goes this way, but it's not really designed to cut it out. Okay. So just know that if you've been trying to get them to match and you're like, these are broken, they're not. They're just not designed to work that way. Okay. So that's thing number 1. Thing number 2 is Concord and Ninth's ink pads. Both their small cubes and their full-size ink pads are what is called firm foam, which means that it doesn't have a linen cover on the top of it. It's actually just a foam, squishy foam pad. So you're never going to get that that linen crisscross from it or anything like that. And I really do like these ink pads. Now, a lot of times though, you see what I got there? I got some bubbling. Okay, when they are new, they like to be pretty juicy. So if you feel like your ink pad is too juicy, I don't think I have, I meant to bring it down. You can get a spoon, or actually you could use a bone folder, the side of it. Make sure that you don't use the sharp edge on it, because you don't want to break the foam, right? But if you feel like there's too much ink in one place, you can kind of just smush it out of the way, like so. And that'll kind of help the ink pool on either side, and then the center won't have as much ink, okay? So sometimes that is helpful. If you feel like you don't have enough ink distributed, before you re-ink your foam pads, just give them a little swish back and forth with your bone folder or with a spoon, and to get the ink more evenly distributed, and you might not have to re-ink right away. Yes, the minis are the same. They are the firm foam pad, which I was super excited about, because sometimes a company will do a firm foam pad for the large, but not for the small cubes. So I was very excited about that. The other thing to note about the firm foam pad is that it likes to stick. See, it actually is picking up my cube. So it will suction if you're not careful. So just another thing to know, that like when you're inking something up, that it might stick. So just take your time with it. Also, the third thing about firm foam pads is that they like to be super juicy, because it's the foam, it's easy to squish. and get a lot of ink. So as my friend Lydia Fiedler always likes to say, you pat, pat, pat the bunny, you don't squish, squish, squish the bug. Okay, so make sure that you're not like killing your stamp into the foam pad. It is very self-critiquing. It is much softer than a linen pad, and so your stamp will smush into it really easy. So you just want to tap it, okay? Yes, I know, so funny. She's a funny person. Okay, so now that you know a little bit about firm foam pads, let's do some stamping. Now, another thing to note is that the lids don't fit in here, and they're concave anyway, so it would kind of, or rounded at the top, so it would roll. So you're just going to want to set that aside. But you can get the stickers, so you will know what your pad is. Okay. All right. So the cool thing about a lot of the projects we're going to do this month is that they're a little on the less, they're a little more straightforward. How about that? So we can get to second and third projects during a single class, and I can show you the additional cards that I made with the leftovers. Okay, so I'm starting off with this kind of backgroundy piece here. All right, and we're going to use this to kind of create a little background on our card base, and then the rest of it's going to be done up with some of the die cut pieces. Okay, so this piece is like a background piece, and I didn't actually mean to throw that away. All right, so what you'll see here is that you really want to stamp this around. This is one that likes to stick because it's a big piece. So I'll hold my stamp pad and get that ink on there really well. Or you can do the opposite where you hold the stamp and you get the ink on there. Okay, I'm gonna actually do a stamp off. So a stamp off once on some scrap. And I'm gonna pop this guy over on the side here. I have found so far that the ink colors are generally slightly darker than the paper colors, so you can do tone on tone and get a really good result. All right, so we'll be doing some of that in the workshop, some tone on tone stamping, which is really nice. Okay. Yeah, tap, tap, tap your stamp into the stamp pad. Yep, you always just tap it. Okay, so I'm going to grab my floral bit. I really like this one with the crosshatch image on there. All right, so tap, tap, tap. So what I'm doing in the background here is just creating a little bit of a collage as a background collage. And then when we add the dies on top of it, it'll just kind of bring everything together. All right, so then the third thing I'm going to do is the little viney piece and pop that kind of like so. Now here's a cool thing. This looks good just on its own. Actually, you can't really see that other piece in there, but when you see it up close, you can see it. All right, so that looks great on its own. You could put a sentiment on here and be done, right? All right, so we do need to do, oh, one other thing I wanted to do. I love that this stamp set has some distressing kind of things, like these little grungy dots here. So with these, I like to stamp off and then put some little bits around, just some, that's kind of like faux spatter. All right, and just a couple little places. Like so. It's really good. All right. And that's almost it for the stamping. We'll come back and do the sentiment. Actually, I guess we could do the sentiment now. I'm going to grab my Misty to make sure that I get it on here square. All right. So the sentiments on here can be used, a lot of them can be used on their own, and then some of them work just slightly better with the be just because. So there's I like you, you matter to me, my life is better. So that one is just kind of weird. My life is better. Yeah, really, you know, just because is, you want to add that in there. So my life is better just because of you or because of you. So that one is like the only one that really kind of doesn't work on its own. And then you inspire me. Okay, so I'm going to grab the You Inspire Me and pop it down here. So this is going to help drive like where I end up placing the just because, but that's okay. We've got plenty of space for it. All right, and I want to make sure that I've got this on here nice and square. So I use the grid on my Misty to make sure that that's good. So again, when you're using this and it gets a little sticky, just tap, tap, tap. And another thing that I noticed is that because of the design here, I am getting a little bit of over inking on my Misty lid. Sometimes it's a good idea to clean it up so that way you don't accidentally get it on your cardstock. All right, so I've got the You Inspire Me in place. So now really, truly, we're done with our stamping for today. Well, for now, I should say. We will do just a little bit later. Okay. All right, so let's look at our dies. All sorts of good stuff here, guys. Okay, so I've got a couple of pieces of paper here. I've got some of this. This is Tonic Rose Gold mirror paper. All right, and I gave you 2 different listings for this because the rose gold paper was out of stock, I think. But I just saw that Sizzix has come out with like a 50 pack. I mean, that's what it's listed as on scrapbook.com, and I've yet to clarify with them. And it's dirt cheap, but it's like foil, mirror, glitter, and I'm like, there's no way you're getting 50 sheets of 8.5 by 11 for like $12, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I need to double check with them on that. So anyway, this beautiful kind of rose gold, it looks really nice with the wheat and the navy blue. It just takes a little bit of the edge off. It's not gold, it's not silver, you know. So on the back of this one, I have some double-sided adhesive sheet, and I like both the Altenew and the scrapbook.com. I think they both work excellent. Okay, so on this one, I'm going to start off with this little rectangle. Now this rectangle is going to create the frame. So if you're familiar with like the Altenew fine frames, this is very similar to that. Okay, and there's some other companies out there that do fine frame type work. All right, I'm going to do a twofer though. I want to cut out both of these at the same time because they both fit in here. So I tape down my frame, and then I've got my little floral sprig that I'm going to put right in the middle. And the reason will become evident momentarily. Okay, so I'm just using my May Blossom today because it's easy. All right, but it's such a detail, and I'm going through the double-sided adhesive that I'm going to use the metal shim as well, just to make sure that that really cuts all the way through. Okay. There we go. The metal shim with this is really, really thick. Sometimes it takes a lot of elbow grease. All right, but see, look, it cut all the way through, which is awesome. Okay, so let's see what I'm going to do here. Take that off and that off. That off. Okay. Ooh, that's pretty. Just like it looks like it's embossed in there, right? It's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so here I've got the frame actually stayed in here. Okay, if that happens, here's what I recommend. Put it down where you want it to go. And give it a little bit of a press. And then, of course, there's always the release spots here. So hit those guys with a pokey tool or whatever you have to get in there. And see if you can get this to come up like so. It's like magic. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now, so Cece, I beat you to the chase on that one. So if it gets stuck in your frame. That is like the super easy way to do that, okay? Just kind of press it down into place because it's already got the adhesive on the back, right, from the double-sided adhesive. And then release it with the dots, and then it's gonna come up, okay? Yes, absolutely amazing. Now, if that doesn't happen, here's what you do. You make sure that your release paper is off of here. This becomes your guide, okay? I would put this down, all right? And if my rectangle was all wonky on my finger here, I would start it in the corner and just press it up against this rectangle here and use this as a guide to make sure that it stayed nice and square. Okay, so that's another thing you can do. If you want to always have a template around, just go ahead and cut this out in some kind of like a thicker white, like your card base white, and keep it with the die set. So that way you always have a template, okay? And that's it. I mean, this is really, really pretty. Okay, so we're getting started here with the frame. The next thing I'm going to do is pull out this guy. Be careful with this because these little arms are delicate. Ta-da. This is so pretty. And I'm going to add it in just kind of, I keep referring to my sample because I like the way that I have it laid out. All right, so I'm not putting this in here like square on, all right, because we're going to add some other little bits to it, and I want to make sure that you can really see this. Buffering, I hope it's, Sue, I hope it's just you. I have an excellent condition rating over here, so I think we're doing all right. Okay, so I've got that going on. Let's get this on the card base before we go too much. All right, because we're done with all the stamping. Okay, so this card base, like I said, is just a little different. It's like as if you were going to do a top fold portrait card. So this is 11 inches by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 5.5 inches. So it's still going to give you that A2 size card. Oh, okay, well, hopefully the buffering went away. All right, and then we're just going to go ahead and glue this up. It's a lot to pay attention to. The buffering, the comments, the everything. All right, so I fit this guy right in here. I made this piece big enough that I would have a 1/4 inch all the way around. So this base piece is 3 3/4 by 5 inches. All right. Beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Getting there. So we need to do a couple more little pieces. We need to do the flower in some more of the rose gold and in some vellum. We're going to do these little flower centerpieces and then the just because. Okay, so let's prep this. Okay, so what weight cardstock for what for my card bases? For my card bases, I use 100-pound accent opaque white. And I like it so much better than Nina Solar White. I do. It's whiter. And I like 100-pound better than 110-pound. It's the Goldilocks of card bases as far as I'm concerned. It is not too heavy, not too light. It's just right. Okay, so I just put that piece of double-sided adhesive on the back of this navy blue. And we're going to cut out the just because with that in a minute. So I've got that prepped and ready to go. All right, and so these are the other 2 pieces that I need for my die set right now. So we're going to do flower, and I'm going to trim this up a little bit so I can run a couple of pieces through, my mini blossom at the same time. Becca, I didn't see you share a product link. Which are you talking about for intricate dies? And Penny, I use, it's by International Paper. It's called Accent Opaque. All right, the adhesive sheets I use from Altenew. I use the ones from scrapbook.com. They are both equally excellent. All right, so I'm going to pop both of those on there. I could do the words too. All right, the words don't matter which direction I have them going because we are going to trim them out. But what I am going to do is kind of line them up on one side here to make that easier later. Okay, so I just got them on this one side of the cardstock. So see, look, I can batch up a couple of little things at the same time. I didn't use the shim, so we'll see if how this turns out. Okay, so I knew this one would come out. That's not a problem. There. Those guys I need to run through again. They just didn't quite like it. And actually that looks like it's okay. I think we're good. Okay, so I've got my letters here. Excellent. I'm going to set that aside for just a minute. And I'm going to run these guys through again. Oh, and you know what? I need to do a flower on the vellum. All right. Let's run this all through. All right. Let's see what we got. Oh, hey, there we go. Yeah, those guys finally cut through. Okay. And Penny, I get that Accent Opaque from Amazon. I don't know if they ship to Australia, but it's always worth a look, right? Okay, so with the flowers, I'm going to glue these guys together, just in the very center. So pop some in the center, and actually I'm going to go ahead and just pop some on the back here. I'm not doing it all the way around, just in the center, so you can kind of lift up the petals. All right, and then I'm offsetting the vellum petal from the rose gold petal underneath. All right. So that's going to need just an extra second to dry because it's got to dry on that metallic, right? So, Miss Tamp, I buy these like 12 at a time. It takes me a while to go through them, but it's totally worth buying them 12 at a time. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. And then I've got these little doodads here. These are the little flower centers. And I'm actually going to use, this is something I don't use very often. It's a little pick-me-up tool. I'm not a fan of these because it like always gets stuck on the tool and not where I want it to stay. So I'm not like really super excited about these. All right, but for the paper bits, I can do it. All right, so I'm going to pop like 3 in the center here. And what this is doing is covering the glue from the vellum. I don't know if I got enough glue on that one. Probably not. Then I'm going to take these extra ones and kind of pop them all over the place, like as if little bits of pollen were falling from the sky, because that's what's happening here right now. See, this is what happens to me. These little pick tools. So these I'm just kind of putting around. It's extra texture more than anything because it's the same color, right? So it's not providing any really big impact as far as like if I was to do glitter or sequins or something like that. I'll put one way out here. All right, but it does provide a little bit of a textural difference. And that draws your eye around a little bit different. Fairy kisses. Oh, Becca, you have the best names for things. It cracks me up. Okay, so I've got my just because here. Okay, what I'm going to do is follow the line from the actual die. Because now, as you're noticing, if you didn't notice before, it doesn't actually cut out the whole piece. It just cuts out the letters. So if you thought you were going to get like two little die cut bits, no, that's not how that works. Okay, so then I'm also going to take my scissors here and just do some distressing. If you don't want to do this part of it, that's just fine. Just make sure that you cut the bottoms and sides of your pieces nice and square, because you won't have anything to cover it up. Okay, so I've got my first one here. Now, the reason why I wanted to do this piece last, because this is basically going to finish up this card. And we're going to do a couple of little leftovers, right? Because it's like 4:35 and we're finishing this card, and I'm like, hey, we can do some leftover stuff. So I want to get this just because on here. I think I'm going to try it this way. We'll see if it works. So I'm going to try this with some press and seal and see if it works, if they will stay. This is the hardest part. I actually, on the, when you see the card that I use these with, I actually had to place them separately because I couldn't get them to stick on the, on here good enough. Yeah, see, they don't want to stick. So we'll try something else. Let's see if I can get them to stick on some Post-it tape. Oh, there we go. Stay. This may not work either. Okay, not going to work either. I've got a third idea. Let's see if I can pull the label off without the letters coming out. And if that doesn't work, then we'll just place them individually. I also considered just throwing them away because sometimes that just gets too fiddly for me. I don't know about you guys. Okay, so now I'm going to just try. Yeah, see, they just don't want to, they don't want to cooperate. That's fine. So I'm going to get the letters out of here. I kind of figured this was going to turn into a PETA moment. A pain in the... All right. So I have my just... And actually, I wanted to do the because first because it want to make sure that it fits. All right, so I'll get a little distress on the edges here. See, this is the great thing about live videos, is that you get to see all the mistakes, which this really isn't a mistake. It was just like, I'm not sure if this is going to work this way. And you get to see it happen live. So, and that happens to all of us. Oh, no, PETA, P-I-T-A, pain in the bloop. All right. Yeah, see, it's like, no. So I'm just going to let all of these guys stick to my work surface here. They will come up just fine. It's better than having them like all stuck to my fingers. All right. Whew. So here we go. Yeah, see, I don't really think this is a blooper either because it's just me trying to do something that's not working out. And that's just experimenting, I guess. All right, so I'm putting this down first, obviously, so that way I can get a nice line on here. Make sure I've got enough space, and then I can pop the just in above it. Ta-da. See. If I didn't want these letters, that would have been so easy and it would have been done 5 minutes ago. So there we go. Super cute, right? First card with our new stamp set for this month. Now, the alphabet soup I've got going on here. Here, this is an easy way to do it. I'm going to show you what it's going to turn into. It's going to turn into this. And we can do this in just a few minutes because these backgrounds are already done. Okay, so as I'm putting together the letters here, so what I'm going to do is just kind of line this up a little bit and do this backwards. All right. So what I thought, I was like, oh, I'm getting all these cute little extra pieces, and I wanted to be able to show you guys some ways to use them, right? And I thought, oh, I've got all these extra backgrounds and all this other stuff in my scraps bin. Let's use it up. And I knew that these projects this month were going to be just a little bit shorter. So I thought this was a good opportunity to use scraps. And I know you guys have asked for that. So here we are doing it. All right. So my pokey tool really helps to place these guys. Now on this one here, I did for sure, like I measured and kind of, you know, I did all the important stuff to make sure it was all spaced out well and what have you. And I don't think this B actually got, oh, it did get a little bit of adhesive. All right, so you see how that's not quite spaced out, right? If I haven't pressed hard, I can get that to align a little better. So yeah, these little letters are definitely fiddly. Now, another thing I could have done is try to place them down on the press and seal to get them all spaced out first and what have you. That's another way to do it. All right, that's actually pretty good. And what you'll notice is that like the A kind of extends a little bit above and below. And that's just because that's what every good fonts does. You just don't always notice that kind of thing. Okay, and then I've got the just hanging around here somewhere. There's the J. Yeah, Becca, that is totally true. You could lay them out wonky to avoid needing it to be perfect, right? Absolutely. All right, so there's my letters. Now, again, I'm going to do some distressing, and that is going to be helpful because if I didn't get that on here square, like where there was a nice even line across the bottom, doing a little bit of distressing will hide that, right? So I like to just use the side of my scissors. And there you go. All right, so even if I didn't have a card in mind for this, I would have this little element I could pop into my scraps bin and have it ready to go, right? So that guy is ready. What I have Here is a card base. Now, these backgrounds are all leftovers from my video series that I did with Altenew called Stencils Unleashed. It's one of their Altenew Academy classes, and I ended up with tons and tons and tons of different kinds of stenciled backgrounds and all sorts of things. And I was like, you know what? These need to get used up. So I had, in this particular one, it was an experiment on ink smushing after you've done some stenciling. And as you can see, like it got less and less defined as time went on. So that's why these two look, this one is a little bit more vibrant, and this one is a little softer in its color. All right, and that's just going to pop on here. Now, why is it glossy like that? It's because it's on photo paper. So, and I don't think I put the link on for this. I should put the link down below for this class if you're interested in it. It's called Stencils Unleashed. It's on the Altenew Academy. We did all sorts of excellent projects with stencils and other medium. And Ann Taylor says it's an awesome class. Yes. And I've seen, and I went out to your website. I saw the project that you did with, that was inspired by the class, and it was gorgeous. I think you did a wonderful job. And I love that Aram caught you right away. She's like, you must have taken Nicole's class. It was so cute. Okay, so hey, check this out. When you get your Concord and 9th kit, the Turnabout kit for next month, it's gonna have the a adhesive eraser in it, and it is bigger. It's like, you know, this big. I like to cut mine in quarters because if you don't and you're using this huge eraser, you'll never get to the center of it. So I always cut my adhesive erasers down like this, and it's a little hard to do, but it's worth it. So you thought it was cheese. No, you don't want to chew on it. Okay, so on this one, I did something. I had some leftover pieces of wax from the wax kit from Altenew, and I just popped those back there as embellishments. But I think what I'm going to do for this one is I'm just going to take, oh, I don't have, no, there isn't. Okay, I was thinking of the stamp that goes with this, but that won't work. So I'm just going to do like a couple little pieces behind, kind of like a flag, but not quite. So if it's not long enough, of course you can just double up to extend it. All right, and then so you know that roll of 3M adhesive that I had? I finished it. It's all gone. So I have like some different sized stuff from scrapbook.com. I've got all sorts of things. And actually this is almost too wide for this. All right, so here's this was a quick card for using up these leftover letters. All right, and so in this case, you really want that background to shine, so adding just this little sentiment in the center allows that to happen. All right, so there you go. All right, so we still have another piece of scrap, though, that I'm even more excited about, guys. Okay, so that's 2. We're going to actually get through 3 cards today. Okay, so here is a card base. And we had, you remember this guy? It's so pretty. And if you, when you do your frame and you put this in the center, you automatically have this really gorgeous medallion piece, right? How about we make something like this? Yes, let's do it. Okay, so I've got another piece of the wheat cardstock, and I'm gonna just crinkle it up a little bit. These are just paper snips. Can't remember the company. I use these all the time. All right, so I've got, like, I distressed my paper here a little bit. All right, and then I can just take my leftover piece. And the great thing about this is, right, it's already got the adhesive on the back of it. It's like a big sticker. Ta-da. Gorgeous element, right? And I've got some fun foam. So instead of using foam adhesive, this time I'll use some fun foam. Oh, so here's another trick, Paula. If your scissors get goopy with glue or adhesive from your foam or whatever, take your adhesive remover and very carefully just run it on your blades here. And look, it takes it off. Nice and clean. All right, I do this all the time. Clean off my scissors, both sides. Clean. All right, so that was a little aside. So I got my foam here. All right. Okay, so two things. One, two. I have all of this really super thin thread from my Stampin' Up! Days that I just couldn't part with. This reminds me of the thread from Alta New when you break it up into its three parts. Okay, so card base. We're going to stamp on the card base first, and then we'll put our swirlies. Why, thank you, Penny. I guess I am full of all sorts of great tips and tricks today. Okay, so I'm going to do, I really like the way this looks with the You Matter to me. I think it's very classy. Okay, so I'm going to kind of eyeball where this is going to go. It has some adhesive on it. I don't know how that happened. Okay. So I think it's going to go about there. Just going to pop this down here. So this is nice. You don't have to have an extra card base or a card layer or anything. You can do this right on the card base. Okay. And then I'm going to just kind of fix this up here. Now that I know approximately where it's going to go. And I want to make sure that it's kind of even left to right. So I'm looking at the number of squares. It's not quite. Actually, that might be okay. I think we might be okay. Yeah, okay, so hey, as we are wrapping up for the day here, the case challenge, the change to it. So basically, this is the way it goes. Post your cards throughout the week and throughout the month. And at the end of the month, I will, at the end of the month? Yeah, at the end of the month, I will, no, we'll do it every week. So you have all week to post your cards. Okay, so cards that were inspired by any of the three that we did today. All right, this is me making things up on the fly. So your creations based on any of the three that we did today, post them throughout the week, the weekend, etc. up until like Tuesday. And then I will go through and find all of the ones that I can find, and I will randomly select a winner. So it'll be a random pick. It won't be a first person to post pick. All right. That way, for people like Penny, who has to go to work, and for people like Paula, who has to go to bed, you guys can certainly play too, and maybe win, right? Okay. So now I've got this on here. I've got my other piece. I could do this too, right? Totally would work, but I really do like it with the metallic thread behind it. Oh, and this one I opened up this way, which is another nice way for that to look. Okay, so here's the thing. When you're making the big circles, I'm using all 4 fingers. Wrap it around a couple times. Okay, and then see, this is too small. So I just have to let go of the ends, I guess, and just kind of let it work its way out. All right. If you want to go for like the more structured look, of course, just kind of try to keep it in circles. If you don't mind it being a little bit more free form coming out of the ends, then you can let it be. All right. So that's pretty good. Okay, so what am I going to do to like keep this in place? I'm just going to take a piece of Post-it tape. You can take a piece of washi tape, whatever, and get that to stay in place. All right, so now when I flip this over, this one's going to be a little more freeform. Right, and then if you want to make any adjustments, you can do that. Like this one, I think comes out too. All right, and I'm just going to stick some glue on here. Hey, Orem, so good to see you. Orm's just finishing up her day with Alta New. I think. She should be. Okay, just messing around with these little swirlies here, guys. There. Ta-da! There you go. So we started off with our main card for today. This one here, right? Super pretty. But then we use the extra leftover pieces to create some extras. Super awesome. So there you go. What do you guys think? Do you like the Concord and 9th stuff? I know all we've been doing is Alta New, Alta New, Alta New. I'm really excited to be back and doing some different things with some other companies. Get to explore some fun new stuff. I'm glad you guys like it. I'm going to pop this one in here too. Here. So you can see all 3 of them. There. All right. So new challenge. Remember, with the case challenge, you have all week to work on a card based on any of these 3 looks. Post them to social media, hashtag me, hashtag Pixel Mavens Retreat, or use the little @ symbol at Pixel Mavens Retreat. On Instagram, you can also tag the photo. And I guess you could tag a photo too on Facebook. You could tag the photo and say that I'm in the picture. If you can link me up that way as well. Those are all great ways to catch my notice, so that way I know that your projects are out there and I can take a look at them. Okay, and then we will do a random pick each week for the card winners. And look, there's 3 cards, guys. So maybe there will be 3 winners. Maybe one winner will get all 3 cards. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Anyway, I'm glad you guys had a great time with these cards today. I had a great time with you. So glad to be back. I enjoyed my week off, but I'm really glad to be back with you guys because it makes the weeks go by super fast. Anyway, guys, Don't forget, affiliate links down below. Thank you so much for using those. Don't forget to share out. Invite your friends. If you were new here today and you didn't feel like sharing a hello and hi, I am, and I'm from wherever, I hope you do come back and you do let us know who you are next time. We love having you all here. So anyway, thanks guys, and I will see you next week. Until then, happy crafting and have a great weekend.